amount of time.
Great. Well, last but not least, Office of Research Development and the Office of Vice Chancellor for Research, Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Resnick, and I'm the Director of the Office of Research Development out of the Vice Chancellor's Office for Research. First of all, I want to formally introduce our Associate Director, Regina Bartoloni, because she will be meeting in the small groups with you also, and I'm going to come back to her for a second about the city of Durham to mention something as an example of outreach and engagement. So I had to ask myself when Barbara called me and said, would you go to the panel? All right, why research development? We're not directly associated with getting involved in communities, but the truth of the matter is we're known for creating trouble. We're an academic think tank was the first academic think tank in the United States, started about 18 years ago, been associated with close to $5 billion worth of research that's been submitted, and out of that, probably over $2 billion that's been funded. Our activities are really to engage our scholars to think about engagement, to take what maybe their siloed research that is very important, that shouldn't be changed, but to get them to think a little bit out of the box, to think a little bit more about how what they're doing influences populations, how it impacts on people's lives, and where they can collaborate to make that impact more important and real and practice and supported. So when I was listening to all of you introduce yourself, my fingers started to tingle. I thought, oh, I'd love to get this group, all this expertise together and start them talking about a problem, for example, water and environmental justice. Everybody in here could attach to that. And then I thought about all of you, and I was thinking, we do, as a pan-university institution, almost everything. And we've worked with so many of you, Johnny, you know. And so some of the things that we all do, we duplicate, but we could collaborate and even be stronger, because there is strength in collaboration. And in these times when monies are being cut, we better think about some of that. So maybe that's something that could be an outcome of this panel. For example, when I think about translation, we work very closely with TRACS. We're advising them on a lot of different research agendas, especially to take it from the medical school into the rest of the university community, and then also to think about where engagement is going on. We get calls from throughout the country about how Carolina can get involved in projects. And when you were talking about the master plan, I was thinking to myself, we're sitting on the small 8-person advisory group for the master plan. We need to talk, because we need to facilitate and help each other in this. So, and then we're very involved in policy, influencing what monies in Washington are working with federal affairs as to how to get funding moved in the directions that our research is going, and also getting our faculty sitting on position panels that can influence where money will go to help. And that includes state monies that come in and impact on the community themselves. We're working with the director of the Center for Middle East, and I was just thinking about that. And Regina, you just sent out a note yesterday about the city of Durham. You might want to mention what that's about, that they asked for help about something.
We have been, Jackie actually has been working with a contact at the city of Durham, and they are looking to establish an urban market in northeast central Durham. And she asked if we would be able to connect her with faculty or physicians here at UNC who could help them brainstorm about best practices and how to establish an urban food market in what they call a food desert in that the bullseye area of Durham. So that's just maybe an example of one of our.
And I think TRACS could be involved in that, you know, because when we think about nutrition, health, outreach, impact in the schools, so there's some questions here that could be addressed that have practical impact. We should talk about that. We were involved in bringing Ellie Wiesel to the campus last year to talk about issues of justice and to engage the students in activities as well as the faculty in that. We started the sexual trafficking conferences, 2 of which were held with the Women's Center, and We were very involved in research development in that area. But the biggest change for us is that the Grant Source Library will now work under research development through as a division so that we can help provide instantaneous resources. And that's something you need to think about, all of you, and we'll work with you in doing that, so that'll be a division. Thank you.
Jackie, did you want to mention anything about the working groups for the Office of Vice Chancellor? Did you want to say anything about that?
Well, why don't you mention it? If we
Go
could.
ahead. And I was going to say something about the research committee. Go ahead and talk
Okay,
about
there
the
are
working groups.
there are two more groups that are sort of meeting as groups that you may want to know about, and then we've got information about them. One, it hasn't totally been announced, it's the Working Group on Economic Development, which, as some of you know, has been going on for some time. That group is, with the elimination of the Office of Economic Development, Business and Economic Development, that group is sort of reconfiguring itself, and we'll start doing monthly seminars on Wednesdays and Thursdays around lunchtime. And again, we'll get you information on that. And then the other one out of the Office of Vice Chancellor for Research are the Carolina Innovation Seminars, and the first one is with Judith Cohn, who's the Special Assistant to the Chancellor on Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And there's some, I put, Jackie, next to your handouts, I put some handouts about that seminar. I think it's next week.
Yes,
as
and,
well.
and ours looks like this. But I also was going to mention that, like, Barbara and I are going out next week to meet with the director of National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences and their new associate director to talk about ways in which to increase opportunities and deal with things like environmental justice through the NIH and partnerships with the university. Out of that meeting, we'll be identifying different programs and tracks and some of the programs you're dealing with. So we get involved in all those kinds of activities, kind of pushing the world.
So, Hingy, I wanted just to pick up on one point that Jackie mentioned. While TRACS is focused on health, because of it's funded by the National Institutes of Health, it's open to all faculty, and in fact, we're excited about thinking about ways to engage faculty from across campus. It has been has sort of blossomed on the Health Sciences campus, School of Nursing, School of Public Health, School of Medicine, and School of Pharmacy, and some social work as well. But we're always looking for ways to extend to main campus.
You know, Giselle, so really, I was just talking to Carol Jenkins about this. We had a meeting, Regina and I, last week with people from the Ackland and people from TRACS, including Rosemary and some of the navigators from TRACS, in trying to create a new direction for both research and training that deals with integrating art and healthcare and research. And it also has a direct impact on many of the outreach programs we're talking about. So we're starting at that level, and then we'll branch out, because the Ackland is also thinking themselves as being part of the community rather than the university in doing this. So all kinds of ways to create trouble.
Well, I mean, I think that you have a bunch of troublemakers on this panel, actually. Many of us.
Rename the seminar.
Trouble. You might draw a bunch
Double
of
trouble.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, they used to call us health agitators.
Right.
Health educators. But anyway, we could be the agitators.
So several of us have used images in one way or another to allow our community collaborators to give voice to their concerns as well as to stimulate action.
Okay, so we have about 15 minutes to sort of network.